Thank you both for being here. Meg, let me start it off with you. When all is said and done, will more people get the Moderna vaccine in this country or the Pfizer vaccine in this country?
Well, as of right now, the supply deals we've struck, the U.S. has bought 200 million doses of Moderna's vaccine and 100 million doses of Pfizer's vaccine. We know that they are working on a deal for an additional 100 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine, but there is some back and forth with the government over the timing of delivery of those doses. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. But if they strike that, then we should have equal availability of both vaccines, and every single dose we hope will get used.
When we add those 200 million plus 100 million, they get 300 million. But does that mean really enough for 150 million people to be inoculated because it's a two-dose protocol?
Yes, exactly. And there are more vaccines that are being tested and developed, of course, from Johnson & Johnson, and we might get to see their data in January, and that's a single-dose vaccine, so that would mean more supply right off the bat. AstraZeneca, of course, Novavax behind that, so the government has placed a lot of bets here, and they've also placed a lot of orders. They do have options to order more from Pfizer and Moderna as well, although the timing of when we could get those might push us into the back half of next year. So the hope is, of course, that other vaccines work, too.
Dr. Rasmussen, before we get to the question of this variant strain or variant in the UK and talk a little bit about that and whether the vaccines work, is 150 million vaccinations in the United States sufficient?
It's really not sufficient. I mean, ideally, we are going to need to have at least 60 to 70% of the population getting vaccinated. And 150 million is less than half of the U.S. population. We also need to be thinking about vaccinations for the global population, because we do live in a mobile world, a mobile society. So if people are not safe anywhere, then they're not safe everywhere. So we need to be thinking about this in larger, longer terms.
So let's talk about this variant that has been uncovered in England. The word is that it transmits more quickly than the original coronavirus. Is there data to support that? And is it any more dangerous as an illness than the original coronavirus? And is there data to support that?
So the data, there hasn't been much data released about this. This is being decided primarily on epidemiologic data. So this variant has become rapidly much more prevalent in southeastern England and in parts of London. That suggests that it may have some sort of advantage in terms of its transmissibility. In addition to that, the Government Advisory Board in the UK cited viral loads being higher in patients who were confirmed to have COVID and had this variant. So that may suggest that these patients are actually shedding more virus, but we don't know the mechanism by which this could be more transmissible, and we don't know for certain that it is. This could also be explained by different behaviors, and people are relaxing the precautions that they're taking that are intended to reduce transmission. That could also potentially explain the uptick. In terms of virulence, we actually don't have any data at all that suggests that this is becoming more virulent. If anything, one of the mutations, specifically a deletion in the ORF8 gene of the virus, has been associated with reduced virulence. Mm-hmm. So fortunately, this variant does not seem to be more pathogenic.
So let me. So you're basically saying step back a little bit here on this. Step back a little bit from the headlines, or from it's not just that Boris Johnson had a bad hair day, by the way. Let's go to whether the vaccine.
How could you tell?
How could you tell? Right, exactly. Whether the vaccine, doctor, as we have it today, will presumably inoculate you against this different variant. That's question one. And is there the possibility, because this is a messenger RNA-based product, sort of a synthetic product, that we could adjust the vaccine more readily to fight this new variant than we might with a more conventional vaccine? You see what I'm driving at?
I do. So to answer question one, the answer for that is we don't know. That's an urgent question in terms of whether the vaccine will work. So there are multiple mutations in the spike protein that the vaccines are developed against. It is entirely possible that this new variant could be capable of evading at least some of the immunity that those vaccines elicit. But you are absolutely right, since these are mRNA vaccines, and also the viral vectored vaccines, such as Johnson & Johnson, are recombinant, they can also be easily changed. That's really good news. If this is a variant that's capable of evading the vaccines, those vaccines could be easily adjusted to accommodate for that.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.